That's my imitation of Stranger Things. We're alive. Hello, hello, everybody. What is up? Tonight is going to be a different one. We're not going to necessarily focus on any tech stuff, but rather Stranger Things. This Friday, we get part 2 of season 4, and if you are not caught up to the end of season 4, please stop watching right now. There are spoilers ahead, and you will definitely be spoiled by these spoilers. And yeah, I can't be held responsible for spoiling the experience, so stop watching right now and turn it off. Finish Stranger Things season 4, the first part, and then come back and watch, because there are spoilers ahead, and it will probably ruin some pretty awesome parts of season 4 for you. So with that said, I'm going to say, if you're new to the channel, thank you for dropping by. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the little dingle dangle bell, because tonight we are going to be talking about Stranger Things season 4 fan theories, and it's only fan theories that we're going to be talking about. So there will be spoilers, and I don't want to ruin it for you. So with that all said, we're going to get into it. Season 4 was actually probably, thus far, in my opinion, is probably one of the best seasons so far in Stranger Things. I like what they're doing with it. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we have learned from it. And I'm going to start off with probably one of the weaker theories that I have that has come about from it. And this theory is that 11 is actually one's offspring. That being said, there's a few reasons why I think this. And if anybody wishes, they may, by all means, weigh in and disagree. But yeah, 11 is one's offspring. And one of the main reasons why I think this is because why else would Dr. Brenner be at one's birth? Like, how else would he know to be there? Somebody with abilities like this, unless 11's mother was impregnated with genetic material from 1. So that's one of the thoughts, unless there's some sort of treatment with something from 1, whether it's blood or, I don't know, blood transfusion or some sort of medical procedure to put something of 1 into these different children. There's no reason why Dr. Brenner would be there at the birth. I don't see. Unless, yeah. So additionally to that, 1 talked about how Dr. Brenner was trying to make more of him. So if Dr. Brenner was trying to make more of him, not others like him. So his phrasing was more about making more of him. And granted, that's not an open shut case, but to me, it feels like, yeah, if Dr. Brenner wanted to make more of him, then he would be basically using something from 1 to make these other children. And probably one of the most of the holes in this theory actually come from more recent research that I've done on 8, and the episode in season 2 where 11 reconnects with 8, and in that time it sort of felt like, yeah, it was maybe a bit more random, but still in the visions that 11's mom is giving her, there is a flash of Dr. Brenner there as well. So I don't know if it's necessarily not, but she was talking about other missing children, and I don't know, to me, a lot of the stuff from season 2 with 8 and, you know, Elle's little adventure out into, was it Portland or somewhere? I don't know where she went, but like the city, you know, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like to me that she's not, I don't know, it felt like they kind of just threw her in there. So I don't know if there's much to do with that. There is an article that I was reading a little bit more on, and this is from popbuzz.com, and they were talking about how 8 is somehow special compared to the others, especially the fact that she can cause people to have visions while all the other kids are kind of more telekinesis. Also, they talk about how she like gave the one mean guy in her crew a vision of spiders, which is also a thing that is very much like one. But I don't know. I don't know if I buy it as there being a connection necessarily. But we shall see. And there are a few different items. Yeah, we do notice when we're looking at 11's visions back that Callie's not at the lab anymore, that she's escaped. And I don't know if this is just sort of the Duffer brothers went into like 8 and they're like, maybe we can do like a spin-off. And everybody was kind of like, I think it was like one of the lowest rated episodes of that series or of that season. So I don't think it was a I don't know if there's a lot of water that this 8 theory holds, but she's also potentially another child with abilities that, because it does seem weird that little young 11, who's just about to get taken from her mother at like 3-ish years old by the looks of it, is with like a 5-year-old looking, or maybe 6-year-old looking 8 next to her. So I'm not 100% sure if she's sort of part of the same program or maybe a separate program that Dr. Brenner was working on. But all in all, I still think there is some potential that we're going to find out that these other kids in Dr. Brenner's lab are genetically connected to 1. Now, probably the biggest theory that I'm going to talk about here is going to be the Upside Down. And I'm just going to throw this out there. And again, there's not really anybody on the stream right now to dispute it. But I'm going to launch into it. And if you're watching this post live, feel free to weigh in the comment section. I will respond to whatever you say. But my belief is that the Upside Down is actually 1's creation. The Upside Down did not exist until 11 and 1 had that fight at the end of season 4, part 1. And I'm going to lay that out there right now. And I'm going to start talking about how 1's fingerprints are all over, or, you know, Vecna 1. I'm going to call him 1 for how he is pre Upside Down, and in the Upside Down I'll refer to him as Vecna. So the person that took Will in season 1 is Vecna. I will say that it was not the Demogorgon that took Will in season 1. I rewatched it, the portion where Will is taken. mostly because somebody was like talking about there's like a grandfather clock that bongs, and the and that, you know, is that the same clock as, you know, the one that's prevalent through season 4? I'm 99.9% sure that Vecna takes Will in season 1, episode 1. You look at the profile. Hey, Virgo. Oh no, Virgo, I don't want to ruin it for you, but I do appreciate you hanging around. So, if you have no intention on watching it, you know, then I don't feel as bad. But it is, you know what though? To be honest, with Stranger Things, knowing about everything and rewatching it will be fun as well. So if you know about the ending and you can watch from the beginning to the end, I think you can still appreciate it and it won't actually spoil it for you. So I'm glad to have you here, man. So here's my thoughts. That, yeah, Vecna took Will in season 1. Exhibit A is the first time you see the oh, okay, awesome, man. So Vecna takes Will in season 1. The silhouette you see when Will falls off his bike and you hear the clock dong, the profile is exactly that, exactly like Vecna, who also does have a similar profile to the Demogorgon. But here's the thing, Demogorgon is running like crazy and very like sporadic movements, not smooth at all. This thing is like slow and steady going towards Will. So that is, again, very much like Vecna in Chrissy's vision, Patrick's vision, Nancy's vision, Max's vision. It's always, he's moving slow, steady, walking, and that's exactly how he's walking when he gets Will in season 1. Additionally, Will goes into his house, locks the door, puts the latch on it. Guess what? Telekinesis is used to unlatch the door. Demogorgon does not have telekinetic powers. That thing would be smashing into the door. That was Vecna opening up the door. All right. And so that's my reasoning why Vecna, he's the guy who takes Will, season 1. All right. Next up, the Mind Flayer is also Vecna /1. All right. I'm going to use season 3 for this one because when the Mind Flayer is possessing Billy, Max's older brother or older stepbrother, all right, he speaks to 11 and he's telling her, I did this for you. And like the way that he talks, the tone and the pacing of his words is very similar to the tone and pacing of 1 /Vecna. So it's very close to that. So that's number 1 reason. Number 2, why would this random creature, this Mind Flayer from the Upside Down, have some sort of personal vendetta against 11? All right, it sounded very personal when, you know, the Mind Flayer is talking through Billy to 11 about, you know, I did this for you. This is all for you. You know, it really revolves around a very personal connection between the Mind Flayer and 11. And I don't think 11 wandering into the Upside Down really qualifies this personal vendetta, you know, this personal sort of thing that's going on. While it makes a much more sense that personal feeling would also be 1 /Vecna, again, doing this to get back at 11. So there is a vendetta, and the way that the Mind Flayer operates as well, that it sort of brings together different organic matter to create, you know, this one being. It's again very reminiscent of how one talks about, how after he kills all the kids at the lab, that he's stronger because of it, that they're all a part of him, that they all still exist inside of him. And it's very similar to what you're actually witnessing with these sort of blobs of flesh coming together to create the physical iteration of the Mind Flayer in the actual Hawkins universe. And then you also look at the final iteration of the Mind Flayer, and you'll notice it's a very spider-like creature. And it's actually funny because looking back at some of the older articles talking about, sort of summaries of various seasons, etc. End of season 3, there was an article basically summarizing the ending of it, and it talks about the Mind Flayer finally comes together into a spider-like creature. All right, they described it as a spider-like creature without any sort of, real allusions to spiders. We know now at the end of the first part of season 4 that one is, loves spiders. They're like his top, perfect thing for him. Like that's the perfect predator to create balance. And he's all about balance and being free to do and create his own thing, his own world, when he's sort of trying to get 11 as well to go with him. He's talking about we can make our own world and restore balance, which again would explain the obsession with the beings in the Upside Down to interact with our universe. So it's again very much like one to bring people together. It sounds so positive. He's bringing people together. That'd be great. Just watching it and just thinking, he's really good at bringing people together. But also too, the way that people sort of are in their death throes as they turn to jelly to congeal together into this creature, again is very similar to the bone cracking and like the movements of them, similar to when I saw the rat dying in season 3. The rat dies in a very similar manner to the rabbit dying in season 4. So again, Mind Flayer, there's a lot of connections I'm seeing that make sense, that the Mind Flayer is actually also Vecna /1. And so I believe that provides some credibility to the fact that Dustin's theory about who Vecna is wrong. Vecna's not the 5-star general that he's talking about. Vecna is actually, in fact, the creator and sustainer of the Upside Down. And like, it is a universe created by one. And I know I still haven't explained that, but I have given connection to how one is actually all of these iterations that are coming through into our universe from the Upside Down. But the big thing that sort of made me get on this hunch that the Upside Down was created by one is when, at the end of season 4, part 1, him and 11 are fighting. 11 basically, pushes him through the wall, and one is tumbling through nothingness. And to me, if the Upside Down existed all this time, why would he be tumbling through nothingness? Why wouldn't he just fall into Upside Down Hawkins? It doesn't make sense to me how he possibly, you know, I got some in the Discord saying they can't watch it because they actually, or can't watch the stream tonight because they actually want to watch the series. So I will let them know it's all good. So once one is pushed through into the Upside Down, or through that wall, he's basically falling in nothingness. And to me, why is he falling in nothingness? Why didn't he just like fall into the lab in the Upside Down? Unless the Upside Down didn't exist when he got pushed through, and he created this escape for himself to get away from 11. There is, of course, some holes to that theory, where, you know, when he gets pushed through, there's sort of those tentacle, snaky things that are like, you know, after he goes through, and they exist right away, but it still doesn't make any sense why he's like falling in nothingness and getting struck by lightning. And my thoughts are actually that him getting pushed through, those tentacle things going through, are potentially him grabbing onto our universe so that he doesn't get lost in the nothingness. And there's the possibility that he has created the Upside Down, but there's also the possibility that he's you know, created an illusion on this other side, and he's still falling, and that the Upside Down is an illusion where he is sort of suspended in nothingness, and people, when they come through, he's creating this sort of tentative world near where they come through that they can step on, feel, touch, and, you know, be there. So I think actually, no, scratch that. It is an alternate universe that he has created. And it's basically the way that they're going to get rid of the Upside Down, because that's really the only answer, because they've, you know, killed the Demogorgon, they've defeated the Mind Flayer twice, and they've destroyed now they're trying to get these people out at the end of season 4. We've got Nancy suspended there in her trance, where she gets to revisit Barb, which, speaking of which, again shows me that the person taking people in season 1 is Vecna. Because if you look at how Chrissy and Patrick are captured in Vecna's mind there, it's very, very similar to what Barb looks like when Nancy goes through and finds her. So again, it's very similar how, you know, why would Vecna have Chrissy and Patrick? So Chrissy the cheerleader, Patrick the geeky reporter dude. Why would they be captured in very much the same way as Barb? And additionally, why isn't Vecna battling these other animals, beings in the Upside Down? And I believe that these animals and beings are creations of his, because he has this obsession with predators. There's only predators in the Upside Down. And so as a result of that, I definitely believe that Vecna is the person who is creating these animals, whether it be the Demogorgon, whether it be the Demodogs, or the Mind Flayer, or that dust thing. Now, the dust thing is another interesting thing, which I believe is also another manifestation of Vecna in all of it. He's the being that was inside of Will in season 2, and also now at the end of season 4, part 1, we see that being captured in a glass case at the Russians' facility. Or wait, was that at the end of it, or was that the preview for season 4? Oh shoot, it is the preview for season 4. So if you haven't seen the preview for season 4, I am sorry, but I'm gonna spoil things due to this from what we saw in the preview. Unless you want me to stop, but if you don't, I will. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna get too much into the stuff that we saw at the end of season 4, or at the preview for the second part of season 4. So, so I'm very much convinced that the Upside Down is Vecna's creation, one's creation, and that both the person that took Will and Barb is Vecna, or possibly, well, definitely not Will, but Barb was Barb was taken by the Demogorgon. You see that Barb is taken by the Demogorgon, but at the behest of Vecna. Will is definitely taken by Vecna. Additionally, the Mind Flayer, I believe, is also Vecna /1. The dust monster thing that was inside of Will was also Vecna. So my thoughts are the why all of this with Vecna is that he's attempting to come back into the world. And it also makes sense that Hawkins is stuck in 1983. Some people have theorized that that 11 created the Upside Down. No, I would say no, because the Upside Down is a snapshot of 1983. So that would be while 11 is still in the lab, and she came to the lab at a very young age, and she hasn't seen Hawkins. All right, you know who has seen Hawkins and has been all around Hawkins? That would be number 1. So I'm pretty sure it's a creation of 1, and it's a snapshot of 1983, which is an interesting detail that we hear, because Nancy, when she's looking for her guns, realizes that everything in her room and all that, it's all 1983, while in season 4 they're in 1986. So the Upside Down does not update alongside it's not updated alongside our world, which would make the idea that it's always existed not really make sense. Again, because why would it be stopped at 1983, and why wouldn't it be continuously updating from 1983, 1984, 1986? So I will say it was created by Vecna /1. Now, additional thoughts. Oh shoot, what's the guy's name? The surfer dude. His character. Oh, scheiße, sorry. His character is absolutely hilarious. Let me see here. Season 4. Stranger Things. But yeah, where is he? Argyle. Yes. Oh my gosh. Argyle is absolutely hilarious. Probably one of my favorite new characters that they introduced. And additionally, I would say that Robin Buckley is probably also one of my favorites, as well as Steve Harrington. Like, their dynamic together is absolutely amazing. Really like it. And what should we expect for the upcoming 2 mega episodes? I think what's going to happen is I don't think Vecna's going to be defeated. I think there's a good chance he's not going to, and that's going to be a season 5 thing. But what is going to happen is probably there's going to be a battle that is going to be the main focus. I think is going to sort of shift away from the Upside Down and Vecna to 11 getting out of the facility, escaping the government, because the government looks like they're ready to find the facility and sort of bust it open. So there's going to be probably a lot of shooting and explosions and stuff. That might be the next episode, is going to be sort of dealing with that. And then the final episode, which is supposed to be, I think, like, okay, the first episode after the break in July is going to be, I think, 85 minutes long. So roughly 1.5 hours. So you're going to get probably 1.5 hours of 11 getting out of the facility. Probably Dr. Brenner and Paul Reiser's character, whoever he is going to die. Those are my thoughts. And they're going to Eleven's going to get rescued by the boys in Argyle's pizza delivery van, and they're going to somehow get away from the government again, which, to be honest, I don't even care how unrealistic it is, because I just absolutely love Argyle, the character, and so it's very easily going to be done for. I have a feeling as well, in these episodes, once Will comes back to Hawkins, which is going to happen, there's going to be some additional drama with Vecna. I think Vecna's going to go after Will primarily again for some reason, and Will might end up having powers of some sort. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think there is a possibility, because there's always there's that question, why Will? Why was Will the first person that Vecna went for? And I think he might have powers, or the potential to have powers. If it's like that, if it's like the Force or whatever, you got to be born with it, and it's not Maybelline. So there's that possibility. Additionally, somebody was asking about if there's a connection between the guidance counselor and Vecna, and that sort of she's like bringing people to him. I don't think so. There's an article looking at, there's a clock, there's a key with a clock in it on her neck, and is that it's the bowl cut. Yeah. It's the bowl cut. Is that why Vecna went for him? Shano. Oh man, that would be hilarious. It's like, I just like the bowl cut. Um, but I don't think it's the bowl cut, but I do think that Will Byers might have powers, uh, or might develop them at some point in these next two episodes. Uh, because yeah, why else? Yeah, so well, aside from the bowl cut, why else would Vecna go for him? Uh, the painting that Will has, is, I'm thinking it's one of two things. Either the painting that Will has is a picture of Vecna dangling with those things attached to him, or it's some sort of thing professing his love for Mike. Because I have a suspicion that Will Byers has a crush on Mike. And I don't know, just it feels like there's way too much tension between him and Mike for it just to be like best friend jealousy. And also there's some other clues and hints throughout where it's like, I don't think Will Byers likes girls. I think it's end of season 3 or in season 3, they have a little fight, him and Mike's like, it's not my fault you don't like girls. Initially I sort of thought, oh, that's just because he's young and he hasn't started liking girls yet. But I think there's a little bit more to that. Additionally, too, there's a portion in in season 4 where Will is in class while Eleven's doing her diorama presentation, and there's a girl in class, and she sort of like reaches out her leg and rubs on his leg, and like he looks at her like with a look of like disgust, like not like that's weird, but like it looks like he's about to like be sick. So I think he definitely does not like girls, and I think he might have a bit more than best friend jealousy towards Mike. So his painting might be some sort of expression of love towards Mike, but I don't know. I might be wrong on that as well, but I feel like his character is not just experiencing best friend jealousy. Let's just put it that way. So that's my suspicion with Will. 11, I think her powers are going to continue to get bigger and better. Because again, Dr. Brenner's like, you're not ready yet. But it's cool that she has sort of the origin power, for like how she defeated him the first time. But I think over time, Vecna has killed and devoured many a person, so I think he's much more powerful now. And there's no way that 11, even with her new leveled up powers, is going to be able to defeat him. So I think season 5. Does he say, Mike, you make me feel... Did he say, Mike, you make me feel beautiful? Or did Mike say that you make me feel beautiful? The painting will get like with a picture of nude. I don't think it will be a picture of nude Mike. But I think it will be... I think most likely it'll be a picture of Vecna, and them defeating him or something. But it could be some sort of expression of love. I doubt it'll be as wildly outrageous as like a painting of Mike as like a centaur or something. But it will be a painting of something. So I'm interested to sort of see what that will be. I don't think it's going to be that wild, but I do think it'll be it'll definitely be something that people talk about. Let's just say that much. So I think that will be happening. I heard rumors that some people will be dying. Closely loved characters. Characters I would definitely not want to see die would be Steve Harrington. Love to see him in season 5. Would hate to see Mike, obviously. 11, wouldn't want to see her die either. Will, him neither. Jonathan, I feel like Jonathan could die, and it wouldn't really take that much away from the story. I feel like his role's kind of done in the story. Argyle, I would hate to see him die. Dustin, definitely don't want to see him die. I feel like Eddie will die. I just feel like he's like the cowardly runaway kind of guy. I feel like he's going to die a hero's death in this season, probably near the end. He'll either the end of the first episode or the end of the second episode. Eddie will die a hero's death. I'm predicting that. It just sort of makes sense because they sort of introduced him as this cowardly guy, and you know, I don't know if they're gonna move his arc that fast where he's gonna, you know, find the guts to lay his life down to protect or help somebody, but I think he will. Steve will die for sure because they're about to rekindle his relationship with Nancy as suspense. Yeah, I said I don't want him to die, but yeah, it will give a great sort of gut-wrenching, like there will be a lot of good drama from it. It'll really stir up a lot of emotions if they kill him. So there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of people who are rooting for him and really like his character. And since they are going to be wrapping things up, I think he will potentially die. But I think if Steve dies, it'll be at like the end of episode 2, like the second episode, which is supposed to be like 2.5 hours long. So like Lord of the Rings length episode. So I think he might he might die at the end of the first one too. Because, you know, you sort of have them recovering from his death and sort of figuring things out, or who knows, maybe Eddie will be the reason why he dies, where Eddie does something cowardly and you know, runs away and leaves Steve all by himself to die, and then Eddie, you know, comes back, and you know, his redemption for letting Steve die is going to be him dying as well. So who knows, but yeah, it would make sense for Steve to die as well, even though I really just don't want him to die. I really like his character. He's like one of the most consistently enjoyable characters. Him and Dustin have like this excellent chemistry as well, and I think like they've got like this amazing, they've written those two like so well together, and I think obviously they've got some real life chemistry together. I think they're actual friends in real life, but like just the way they play off of each other is awesome. So I really like that. But yeah, he might die. Nancy, she might die. To be honest, Mike's dad could have died in season 1 and nobody would have missed him. Him and his like deadpan, like super like critical, like almost toxic sarcasm. I don't know why, but like the dad figure, Mike's dad, for some reason, even though he's like such a minor character, he like he's such a deadbeat. It's just like hilarious to me. But yeah, I think Max could die as well. Unfortunately. I really hope, let me see, what's her name? Robin. I really hope Robin sticks around. And I think she will. I think she'll be in it for at least season 5. because she's like such an excellent character as well. And I think, yeah, Maya Hawke plays her so well. But no, we'll see. We shall see. I think Dustin's gonna survive it to the end. I think he's a pretty critical element. Lucas as well. I think he's been doing a great arc character-wise, so I think they're going to keep him in it. Makes a lot of sense for him to stay because he's got a lot of, I think the original 4 are going to stay there. But yeah, Steve, I think he might be on the chopping block. And if he does, it's like what a great role he's going to play, being sort of sacrificed for entertainment in the series. And I think too, like, that's sort of what you would want as an actor, like your character dies, you want it to be like the most impactful thing on the viewing audience possible. And I think if he dies, yeah, it'll be a massive impact. So yeah, to be honest, I don't know what's going on with Joyce and Hopper in Russia. I have a feeling that Hopper is going to die. Like, that aspect of the story is like weirdly, it is like the most unbelievable for me. Like, I know it's funny, I'm like talking about things that are unbelievable when there's like people with psychic abilities and telekinesis and all those things, but the most unbelievable thing is that Hopper is surviving in Russia. So I am interested to see sort of what the aspect of the Russians have, and that was one of the things too, like, about the Upside Down, is why were the Russians in Hawkins looking for the Upside Down, right? Like, and why is the Upside Down so connected to Hawkins? Again, like, the only things that really are connecting the Upside Down to Hawkins are 1, and the fight between 1 and 11. And that would explain why the Russians are in Hawkins if the Upside Down was created by 1. And I don't know if you're here, Shano Zero, when I was talking about that earlier in the stream, but the Upside Down is created by 1, Vecna. He's the creator of the Upside Down. That's my biggest theory. And again, too, it would make sense that if he created it, it would be connected to our world at Hawkins, where he sort of was pushed through and that breach was created. Because the Russians, they have a tool that can create a breach, can cut a hole between our universe and the Upside Down. And if the Upside Down exists and it's existing independent of 1 or Vecna, why don't they just make a hole in Russia and just do it there? Why do they have to go all the way to Hawkins? That doesn't make sense to me. Unless Hawkins is special in the sense that 1 / Vecna living there as what's his face, Creel. What's his name? Mr. Creel, where are you? What is his name? Yes. Henry Creel. So unless Henry Creel if he didn't create it, then I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see that. So I think the school jock is going to die. Although part of me is hoping that, and another part of me is thinking it makes sense plot-wise. But yeah, also, what is it? Lucas's little sister? No, they weren't showing that. They weren't showing the Upside Down before 1 entered it. In the last episode, when he goes through, he's like falling through nothingness. Why is he falling through nothingness? Why didn't he just like fall into upside down Hawkins? Like flump right into it. Answer me that one, Shano. Answer me that one. Right? This is why I'm doing this stream, is because I wanted to like people to talk to me about this so I can flesh it out. Maybe it's a really bad theory, you know, and you've got some insight that'll tell me that's a bad theory. But I think it's a good theory because I've just been talking to myself for the past, like, what? How long? How long have I been talking to myself for? Roughly an hour? Yep, 50 minutes. But yeah, why is he... I will write it here just in case. Why was he falling through nothingness once being pushed through? Riddle me that, Shanna. Riddle me that. I must know. Because I can reiterate. I can go back over the my thoughts on why he is. Also, too, Shano, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but the person, it was nothingness. He was falling between mountains and clouds and lightning. Yeah, but his mountains and clouds and lightning on either side of him, which would basically it's imagery of a void. Yes, it did start zapping him, but he was falling through what looks like a void. Why didn't he just fall into the neighborhood, right? Like you see when, you know, anyone goes through a breach between the two worlds, they basically step from our world into the mirror of our world, which is darkened, you know, solid ground right under your feet. There's gravity pulling you down in the right direction. You know, he's falling between, you know, this gap, which looks like a gap. In my opinion, he's falling through a gap between universes, or into nothingness, being pushed out of our universe. And I feel like to me, it was like he was just sort of floating in nothingness. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't know if you're here also to hear my commentary that Vecna is the person that abducted Will, not the Demogorgon, and that Vecna is also the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer was a manifestation of Vecna. Yeah, I don't know, pitch black nothing, but how do you show people that it's pitch black nothing? Right? I think him falling and it being pitch black nothing would have been very anticlimactic because you wouldn't be able to see him. But that void, him falling, and like, what is he falling towards? He's not falling towards one set of clouds and mountains or another set of clouds and mountains. He's falling through between them. Right? He's not actually falling from one cloud and lightning thing on the top to the cloud and lightning thing on the bottom. He's just falling between them, towards nothing, in nothing. So I think it's him falling through nothingness. So I don't know, like, so how does he land in the upside down if he's, you know, falls through into this world that's existed for thousands of years, as per Dustin's assumption. Right? Dustin is saying, oh, it could have been here for thousand millions of years. You know, and yet he's falling through nothingness. How does he get to the upside down? And how does the upside down get so close? Does he like fall into the upside down and then like join the two universes together? Or I think he falls and basically starts controlling things around him and creates a world. Whether it's from nothing or from the energy that's around him. Maybe Will has been dead the entire time and has been taken over by the real Mind Flayer. And the Mind Flayer's real target is Mike. And that's why there's that desire for Mike. But no, I think Will's back to normal. I'm gonna ask you, why would you think that Vecna say and then at the ending he puts his arm around Mike, turns his head and his eyes are yellow like a werewolf. That would be, and then it's the prequel to Twilight, because this is Thriller. Ta-da. That's awesome, man. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm gonna say, can you give me a reason? Oh my goodness, my typing. Give me a reason why Vecna didn't create the Upside Down. Is there a reason why you don't think? Maybe evidence. Why Vecna didn't create the Upside Down. Because I think he definitely did. Like, definitely did. Like, I feel it's a pretty solid theory that Vecna created the Upside Down. You know, especially since, like, all his lingo before him and Eleven had that fight was, you know, we can create the world how we want it. You know, one without, you know, boundaries and without, way over his capabilities? Maybe. But then again, maybe not after he absorbed the abilities from all those kids he killed. Right? And maybe it took him time to get there as well, right? And similarly too, like the rupture, you know, it wasn't there, and then he finally found a way to get through again. Yeah, you think it's way over his capabilities though? Yeah. Well, then that is a solid reason. I'll give you that. That is a solid reason. You know? Enough to give me a bit of doubt. But I still think it's true. But I think yeah, if it was already there, Why didn't he just fall directly into it? Like, that part of it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why didn't he just go floom, falls through, poof. So, I don't know. I think he's got a lot more capabilities than we think as well. So, yeah, he's still fresh though. So, yeah, he kind of. You thought that he actually fell right into it. But, like, why wouldn't he just fall into it onto the ground? Like, he's like, or did he, like, shoot out of it so fast and then the cloud zapped him? You gotta rewatch it, man. Rewatch it. He's falling in nothingness. Unless it's like some sort of concussion dream for him. And he's really just laying on the ground. And he's just like swirling in his head or something. But I don't think there's anything there. And that's why he was falling through nothingness rather than falling towards something or at something, or even like, it doesn't make sense that he would. I believe that he created it in from what I saw in season 4. What do you think about the thought that he's the person that took Will? Do you think that's a solid theory? I'm curious. And do you think it's possible that he's the Mind Flayer? Like, why does the Mind Flayer look like a spider? Why do people, when they die and become a part of the blob monster thing, do they sort of die in a similar fashion to the rabbit and also to the people who are dying in season 4? Obviously, season 3, they turned to... Yeah? What do you think? Do you think it's possible that he's falling in nothingness? Yeah, exactly. It's like he's between two things, but he's in nothing. But again, too, that nothingness that he's sort of falling through, too, it also might be the creation of the gate from one to the other. But the energy, the zapping, basically the lightning, that's energy, right? And so the energy of a hole being ripped in a universe could cause some lightning. I'm just guessing. I'm not an astrophysicist. I don't have, degrees in that. Nor do I have degrees in alternate universes and alternate universe creation. But the energy of a hole being ripped could be some lightning-worthy energy. Just my thoughts. Yeah, the lightning is, but why is he falling not towards one or the other, but he's just basically passing directly between them and getting zapped as he goes directly between the clouds on top and bottom? Like, why? That's my question. And we will see what you think. Yeah. But yeah, do you think he's the Mind Flayer? So I think it's possible that he's also the Mind Flayer. I'm waiting for your response. And we will see. Let's see here. Yeah, right? So that was my thoughts too. Like, but again, if he's the Mind Flayer, if he's also the person who basically took Will, I doubt he is a separate entity that also likes spiders. I am highly doubtful of that. But I do think that that if he's the Mind Flayer, and if he's also I think he's also that dust thing that was inside of Will, and he's also the person that took Will. So I feel like he's also the person who created the Demogorgon and created the Demodogs, and also is, because I don't want to sound like a Google developer, but like the design language of the Mind Flayer, the design language of the Demogorgon, they're all kind of similar, right? Which would make you think that there's a similar thread between who designed them. So my thoughts are the designer of the Mind Flayer, the designer of the Demogorgon, the designer of the Demodogs, and all that is none other than Vecna. Which, if he's the one creating life in the Upside Down, I would think also he is the one who potentially created the Upside Down. Again, too, Barb, she's basically just like wrapped up like Chrissy and Patrick were. I think it's all Vecna, every single bit of it. And the big question that I have is I still have no clue what the clock is all about. And the only thing I can maybe put a finger on with the clock is it's about his obsession with breaking free of rules and not liking being bound by things like time and rules, expectations. And I think at the basis of all of these rules and expectations is time, and time is sort of the thing that he uses to scare the people before he takes them. And also time is his sort of nemesis. And I think also too that would explain why the Upside Down is stuck in 1983, is because he has stopped the passage of time in the Upside Down. And as such, he's sort of pursuing immortality. No, that is true, right? So 11's battle with one occurred in 1979. The Upside Down is frozen in 1983. But I believe 1983 is where we start in season 1. So 1 gets pushed through. He creates the Upside Down and finally regains the strength to come back through the rift that still exists that he was pushed through. Or rather, I think he creates another one, because I think it's inside of a tree, right? That sort of the Demogorgon takes Barb through, and probably similarly he took Will through. But I think he... Oh yeah, you know what though? That does sort of throw a wrench in it though, because if he went through in 1979, how does he know? Well, maybe 1983 is the last time that he went through. And thus, you know, coming through in 1983, he was able to create that world. Because maybe that was the first time he'd been through, right? So think of it this way. 1 is captured. He's also a prisoner, right? He's like, we are all, you know, some of us are prisoners here when he's talking to 11 in season 4. So 1 is a prisoner at the facility. So he doesn't actually know what Hawkins looks like currently. You know, he's probably been in the facility since he was a young boy. So probably, 10, 15 years-ish, depending on how old he is. But I'm assuming he's at least later 20s. So he's been there in the facility, hasn't been out, gets pushed through into the Upside Down in 1979, stops himself from falling. I'm assuming, you know, my thoughts are this, is that the next part of season 4, if they decide to reveal more of like what happened after he got pushed through, he's going to catch himself in the nothingness and he's going to start building the Upside Down. And the first time he gets back through is going to be 1983 when he gets Will, and he's going to create his own version of the Upside Down in 1983, version of Hawkins. So he's going to start creating Hawkins in the Upside Down in 1983. And through that, he's going to be similarly to how he's searching people's minds, right? He's searching people's minds in our world, right? And through that, he's going to know what's everywhere in Hawkins. And so he's going to recreate Hawkins 1983, which is the next time he comes through, right, to get Will. And that will be the last time I think he comes through, because I think season 2, he basically decides, I'm not going through there anymore. That was risky. I'm going to stay here in the Upside Down, and I'm going to send my dogs through, and I'm going to send this dusty version of myself to possess Will, and take him over and begin to amass my army there. Well, that gets foiled and finds a way to get to Billy, but not before getting to Rats. Billy then is his minion. He still hasn't gone through again, right? So he doesn't have the mall there. He doesn't have the guns in Nancy's room. It's stuck in 1983. And he has, I think, good enough version of our world. So it still could make sense that the Upside Down is in 1983, because that's when he comes through for the first time since the battle. But it is a curious thing. It is a little bit of a stretch, I admit. It is a bit of a stretch to say that, you know, that's why it's 1983 and not 1979. But That's a good point. That's a good point. But I think we will see in these next 2 episodes him falling through the air and then catching himself or creating something. Now, if he's falling through and then he like lands on ground in Hawkins, then you will know right away that my theory is wrong, that he created the Upside Down. But the issue is that if he didn't create the Upside Down, I don't see a way for them to be able to eliminate the threat at any point, because they've already tried to eliminate the threat. Season 2, or Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4. Already, they've been trying, or Season 3, they've eliminated the threat multiple times, and it always keeps coming back because this entity exists in the Upside Down. And this entity always keeps pointing back to 1. Now, do they kill 1 and the Upside Down still exists? I don't think so. If there were other beings there, especially too, if 1 is not the Mind Flayer, if 1 is not the creator of the Demogorgon or the Demodogs, then there's no way of actually resolving the Upside Down. You can't destroy it. You can't stop it from reconnecting somehow, because the Russians can always blast another hole, or some other being in the Upside Down will always find a way back in. But the only being in the Upside Down that has a vested interest in this world is 1. The only being that talks about recreating and creating new things is 1. The only being that has put multiple things together to create a new creature is 1, with the Mind Flayer. So I don't think, I don't know, I don't think there's any reason why it wouldn't be him who's created it. And if he has created it, it's a great out for the writers, to basically do like the cleanest ever finish up, right? Where he dies, the Upside Down collapses, it doesn't exist anymore, done. Story is done. He was the reason why we kept having these new seasons, and once he's dead, it's done. And then there still is, though, the mystery of where did he get his powers. And also, to the question, that was raised with the article that I just read about 8, is why does 8 have that power to create illusions, right? Yeah, what was his original reason? Probably to weaponize him. That's my thought. It's always sort of why does the government do anything with any of these things? They want to weaponize it. And so that was my thoughts, is that his original intent was to weaponize it as a Cold War weapon. And I think, too, that was also the Russians' intent with also tapping into the Upside Down, as they wanted a weapon of their own as well. So my thoughts are that Dr. Brenner's directive was to create soldiers out of these children, that could, find people with a picture and kill them without a weapon, and basically be unstoppable. Those are my thoughts with Dr. Brenner. I think his is I think it was a weapon to deal with the Russians. Because again, it's the 80s, it's the height of the Cold War. Everything is about fighting the Russians. And so I don't think, because again, they don't know about the Upside Down until 11 creates that hole by pushing 1 into it, right? And whether she pushes him into the Upside Down that already exists, or pushes him into nothingness and he creates it, I don't think the problem was present in their minds or their plans until she had that fight with one. So those are my thoughts in regards to that. I don't think they were creating a weapon to deal with the Upside Down. I think they were going to be weapons against the Russians for the Cold War. And then after that, because basically he killed everybody. And I think Dr. Brenner's thoughts then probably were after that he was going to continue with 11, and she would be his next starting point to rebuild the program until she escaped. So that's at least my thoughts in regards to the program and Dr. Brenner and what he's going or what he's trying to do. I am curious as to how Dr. Brenner is so comfortable around these kids. Like, he's so casual with how he is. And it's like these kids seem like very dangerous. So I also have questions as to whether or not Dr. Brenner has powers as well. But again, that's something that we might see in season 5 as to where these powers come from, because I don't think there's really any answers to that yet. And that's only the only other unknown, I think, especially if they defeat Vecna in season 4, which again, I don't think they're going to defeat Vecna in season 4. I think there'll be like a cliffhanger where they like have him on the ropes, but it's not definitive that he's been defeated. And then season 5 is going to start off where he's sort of there still, and they're going to dig then into the backstory of where he gets his power, and to give a much fuller picture of these powers. And then they're going to wrap it up with his defeat at the end of season 5. That's my thoughts on how they're going to take this story. To me, that makes sense as far as, if you've got one more season after this, and if he is the creator of the Upside Down, and he's the top guy in the Upside Down, once he's defeated, the Upside Down really is just a detail. So it might have been confirmed that Vecna does not die this season. I hope not. To be honest, it'll be a killer cliffhanger, which I will hate, but it'll help make sure that 5 is a really great season. Yeah, I'm trying not to read any of the episode names, because again, I just want to just say this. However, I'm thinking from what I've seen, not from episode names, not from stars who are in the episodes acting. But yeah, to me, it doesn't make sense that they would kill him season 4. And again, if they do not kill him season 4, I feel like that actually adds a lot of weight to my theory that he is the creator sustainer of the Upside Down. So, but if he dies and the Upside Down still exists, that theory is gone. Especially if he dies this season and the Upside Down still exists. So I feel like he's pulling these things together and is creating them. And also too, I feel like it's a part of the fact that he said too that, when he kills those kids, that they're still a part of him and still inside him. And so I think he does have the ability to potentially focus multiple consciousnesses. What's the plural of conscious? Whatever the plural of conscious is, he's able to focus multiple conscious plural form on sustaining and maintaining the Upside Down, as well as his mission of getting back into our world and destroying / reforming it in his vision. But do you have any ideas on what the clock is all about? Because as far as I can tell, the clock is only about like the structure of humanity that he hates, and is basically trying to use that structure against the people that he is looking to torment / eat their minds. So I feel like there's nothing outside of that so far that I've seen that would signify such a thing. But I don't know. What do you think? Am I talking out of me boom, or is there some potential to that? Because I'm really interested to see why that clock is all up in there. I honestly don't think. There's got to be something more than just like as a prop to signify like the slavery that people are in our universe. Oh, okay. The whole child telekinesis powers farming thing, along with kidnapping and time jump storyline, has been done with the show Fringe, produced by J.J. Abrams. Yeah. I'm wondering how season 5 will line up with the way Fringe ended its series. How did Fringe end its series? I actually didn't end up seeing the end of Fringe. I know they had like a parallel universe in Fringe, I think, where they would travel between them. But I don't know. How did Fringe end? This is my question. But I do think that the big bad guy will not be defeated in this season. I think this season will be more about defeating the government. You also can't remember. Must have been great if you can't remember. But yeah, I think it'll be more about defeating the government and 11 being free, and reuniting with her friends. And I don't think there'll probably be some more interactions with Vecna, but I think Vecna is going to be a sub detail or like a subplot in the second portion of it. To be honest, there might be more background on him, especially if my theory is correct about him building the Upside Down. There might be sort of a little bit of the process of that happening. But I think the main enemy in this one is going, like with the kids, is not going to be Vecna. It's going to be the government, trying to get Elle, trying to get them, and so I don't think they're going to defeat Vecna season 4. I think Vecna's defeat will be season 5. Again, I think there is the possibility that 8 comes into it and, helps 11. Oh, 11 wakes from a training pod and it was all a dream at the end. Oh, who knows? Maybe. Or maybe Dr. Brenner wakes up and it was just him on a wild acid drip. And he's not even a real doctor. But I'm excited though to see what they do in season 4, this final part. I believe is July 1st is when it comes out. So happy Canada Day. And oh wait, is that gonna be? Oh, that's gonna be my Friday night stream. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do my Friday night stream, and I'm gonna keep it short because my Friday night stream is at 9:30 Eastern, and I believe Stranger Things comes out at midnight. Is it Friday, July? Is it July 1st at 12 a.m.? Let me see. Season 4, Part 2, Stranger Things. When? When do you come out? 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on July 1st. Oh, so it happens... Oh, it happens like early morning then, Friday. So, late night Thursday. So, alright. People might be caught up a bit. I might grab... no, wait, I'm not going to grab an episode before it because I will talk about it on the stream. And if I do, and if I do on the gaming stream, and if I do, then it'll be a disaster because there's a good chance that a lot of people, like all 3 people that watch my gaming stream, will not have seen it yet, and I don't want to ruin it for them. So, but I think it is getting late, and I am going to wrap it up. Shano, Virgo, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Please like the video. It helps. It's not just for my ego. I think it helps with like YouTube algorithms and stuff. Also, if you're a stranger and you have been listening to this Stranger Things fan theories, only fan theories, please also leave a like, subscribe. I do a gaming stream on Fridays at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I do like usually a tech stream on Mondays at 9:30. So this coming Friday, it's going to be a shorter stream than usual. The last few streams have been like 4 hours long, which is like ridiculous. We're going to play up until the blood moon because we were playing 7 Days to Die. Play up until the blood moon, which is the more exciting stuff, and we're going to do the blood moon, try and survive that. Then we're going to do a mission, and then we're going to call it. So we're going to shorten that down. My goal is to keep it to like an hour and a half max. So like I'm out of there done at 11. So that will be my plan moving forward for the gaming portion of the channel stuff. And next week on Monday, I believe I'm going to be doing a cleaning of a GPU that has been mining for a while. So I do have a cat in my home, and so I haven't cleaned this one as often as I should, and so I'm going to clean this one, and it's going to be kind of like hopefully one for the people who like pimple popping and, you know, pulling hairs out that are ingrown and such. So it'll be a bit of a weird one, but I think it might be popular with some people to see a GPU cleaned and the cat hairs and stuff being pulled out. So some dust bunnies and such. So that will be next Monday. Please do subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. And I will see you on Friday if you're down with the gaming, or I will see you on Monday for the tech episode. All right. You guys have a good one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.